All right, I'm going to start up. I literally just a second ago sent out an email and I want to show it to you. What I decided to do was I want us to be able to get off just the straight node stuff. Hold on a sec. All right. Hello, Clayton. We're just starting up. I just sent out an email to you guys, and I've decided that what I'm going to do I'm going to give you all period today and some time tomorrow and some time on Wednesday to work on it. But I want us to be able to get off this straight node stuff, but I also want to make sure people understand it. So I've decided to give you a test. You will have all period today, probably 1 to 2 hours tomorrow, and 1 to 2 hours on Wednesday to work on it. I'm not going to sit and read it to you. All right, but as it says, we will resume the API stuff tomorrow in class. So there's two things that I want you to do in here. All right. Number one, I want you to go to that Node BMI program that we worked on as a class and fix it. That's what A, B, and C say. All right, so refactor any, so I don't want any duplicative code in there. There is some now. Try to get rid of any duplicative code. So if there is stuff that's duplicative, see if you can put it in its own function, method, whatever you want to call it. All right, second, and I mentioned this the other day, the output looks kind of poor. I'd like you to use a Bootstrap 5 table or some kind of an equivalent and format the calculated BMI info. So the first name and last name. You can do this any way you want to. I'm leaving it up to you. All right. Then finally, if possible, as it says, just add a simple graphic so that underneath or on the side of wherever you give the BMI status, ideally you can find a picture of the same person or somebody that looks alike and have four different ones, one for underweight, one for optimal weight, one for overweight, and one for obese, and add that. All right. And when you get done with this, again, you will, as always, save that as part of your repo. Now you've got your choice when you do this. You can either just literally, I'd rather have you create two different, projects. If you want to put them inside of the same folder, you can do that. That's totally up to you. All right. The second one is more open-ended. And as it says here, I want you to create your own program. And there aren't a lot of requirements on here. All right. It shows you what the inputs are. And it's probably, well, let's see, input the person's first name, last name, and amount borrowed. Well, also, you want to say what they're borrowing it for. So let me add to this. The reason for borrowing, rate, and time. Now I'll send this back to you just a second. So create some kind of, as it says there, of a drop-down list, and the options of what they're borrowing it for can be home, boat, car, motorcycle, and others. You should have so have a drop down, and the first thing in there should say something like choose loan reason. You can create your own constants for the minimum and maximum amount that somebody can borrow. All right. And I said it'd be kind of nice to make it look legitimate so you can look out on the internet if you want for loan rates. It's up to you. If you want to, you can have different rates for different kinds of loans. For instance, a home loan might be a lot different than an automobile loan. Do you have to do that? No. I'm saying if you want to do that, you can. By no means do you have to. All right, then create another drop-down list in the input for the years. And of course, not 5 and 1, but that should have been 5, 10. That's what happens when I type right before class. 25 and 30. And again, the starter thing should say choose loan years. So as it says in here, you are to create your own homepage, your own results page. If you want extra credit, you can even try creating a loan amortization table. You can do that any way you want. I'm making this really, really open-ended. All right. And why am I doing this? Not to waste my time, not to waste your time. But really, when you think about it, what we're doing right now, what we've done so far, we're just getting into starting to bleed together MySQL and Node. But prior to that, most of the first 3 weeks has been just on Node. All right. We've discussed other things. We had the JavaScript review, etc. But most of this has been a Node.js class. I want to make sure before we go on that people understand what it is we're supposed to be doing in here. So again, you will create 2 problems. You can have the entire period today to work on it. Tomorrow, I'll try to go no later than 2 to 2:30. All right. Maybe even 2, by 2. And then on Wednesday as well. That'll give you, if we do that, that's up to 8 hours. And I mean, let's face it, you're either going to get it during that time or you're not. All right. It's worth 100 points. The first problem will be worth 30 points, and that's fixing up the existing one. And the second one will be worth 70 points. And again, if you want to try to get extra 25 points of extra credit, you can do that. But by no means do you have to. All right. The only other thing I'd say, because sometimes people ask, well, what if I try doing this extra credit thing and I only get it partially working? Then you get some extra credit. All right. Do you both understand what I'm asking you to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Then
one more question for you.
Sure.
It's kind of a little bit out, but what's the other homework we have due this week too?
Okay. That right now, what I'm doing is I was going to give you this as other homework. All right. But I decided to make it a test instead. The other homework, don't worry about that right now. All right. Because technically there isn't any other homework. Okay. There won't be any other homework. Uh, we'll see where we get this week. I don't want to say there won't be any homework this week or there will be homework this week, but I want to see where people are with this thing on Wednesday. The other thing that I want to mention to you guys, and you probably saw my email yesterday, I've had 2 people ask for a tutor for the C# class. If anybody, either listening live or listening on tape is interested in tutoring, please let me know. There's forms you have to fill out, but I can get them to you right away or almost right away. You fill them out, and there shouldn't be any problem with anybody who's in this class getting okayed as a tutor. You get $10 an hour. It's all online. You do it. If somebody wants to be tutored, you do it according to your hours, not their hours. They got to work around your schedule. So I'm not asking right now, but I'm saying if any of you either listening live or listening to this on video, all right, any of you are interested, just drop me an email when you can. Okay. All right. Now, as far as the stuff that was due yesterday, I have not graded it yet. It was due at midnight this morning. And a couple people had asked, they said, well, how are we supposed to turn this stuff in? All right. Well, I didn't think it would be hard for those queries that I asked you to do because you had your choice. I mean, I even mentioned this in class. You could have either created the queries in even like Notepad or Notepad++, then copied them into your PHP My Admin window, or you could have gone the other way and done them in your PHP My Admin window. And once you got them to work, copy them to a text file on Notepad++ or something like that. All right. And as far as the other one, because people say, well, what are we supposed to do with this other one? Some people took screenshots, etc. One of the things that we talked about earlier in the semester was being able to go in and export whatever it is you're working on. And you can export either your schema or your data or your schema and data, and you can export that to an SQL file. What do I mean? Well, that's what I gave you guys that day when we were looking at that classic models. That was just an exported .sql file that had schema in it and it had records in it. That's actually what I'd prefer. But if you've already turned it in and you did screenshots, that's okay. All right. Have I answered any questions? Any questions, other ones that anybody has? All right. Then, like I said, I'd like you to start working on this. I'm online. I'm working. I'm doing other stuff. Have a program I'm working on for the C# class that I'm trying to get a bug out of. And so I'll be online working on this stuff. I'm going to, since I've updated this, I'm going to quickly look at it and make sure there aren't any more errors in it. If they're not, I'm going to send it out to you. So you'll get that in 5 or 10 minutes. All right. That's all I have today for lecture. We'll pick it up again tomorrow. We'll be working in Postman and trying to get the rest of our stuff in our API working. All right. So again, I'll be online until 4 o'clock. I will talk to you later.